Right, well, last week we left you on a little bit of a teaser because we were talking about potentially moving house. So this week we're going to tell you a story from start to finish because, well, we are moving house. So, and apologies for some of you, if you've been watching our videos for some time, you might know some of this, but for all of the new subscribers, who are very welcome, by the way, we thought we'd start at the beginning. So,
well, we both retired.
Yeah.
Well, I retired probably over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you
about a year before me.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And our plan was always to go off travelling in a motorhome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we had a motorhome that a previous motorhome, and we loved it, didn't we? It was like our real stress buster from work, so we loved travelling. And so we decided that was going to be our post-retirement plan.
And for the last, over 2.5 years,
yeah,
we've had a brilliant time travelling around the UK,
yeah,
seeing some beautiful places.
Yeah.
And one in particular was the Cairngorms.
It was. Now, the Cairngorms is quite special to us because we first went there. Well, I first went there. Sue's been there previously because you probably haven't guessed from her accent, but she is actually Scottish. But the first time I went to the Cairngorms was actually on our honeymoon back in 2007. And we returned a few times, but we did like it. However, we travelled around the country, didn't we? And it was never our intention to immediately buy anywhere new. We always thought we would eventually sell our house and settle somewhere else. But it was a bit of a byproduct, travelling around, seeing lots of places. We never agreed on anywhere, did we, about where we would both like to settle down. And then our circumstances changed. So Dan, our son, we had that luxury of being able to keep our house. He stayed there, living in it, looking after it, paying all the household bills. But then earlier this year,
he decided that he wanted to buy his own place, and he successfully found somewhere that he wanted to buy, which put us into the predicament, what we're going to do.
We had to make a decision, didn't we?
I mean, I was quite adamant that I wanted to sell, because it wasn't down in the southeast that I wanted to carry on living. You were a little bit more hesitant.
Yeah, it was a big decision for me. Dan, would basically been brought up for most of his life in the house that we had. He'd gone to school from there and gone on all of our holidays, and all his friends were there. But I suppose in the end, because we'd been travelling for, by then, over 2 years, it made that decision about selling that house much easier because it had become just a house by then, hadn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then we had a very fateful event. The fateful event was actually before this big decision. So rewind a few months, and would you like to explain what happened?
It's nearly a year ago.
It's nearly a year ago, but it was
a year ago.
A few months from when we made that big decision about selling the house.
Yeah. We were travelling to my family's annual get-together in Crieff, and as we were driving down there, a pheasant drove into our flew into our windscreen.
They're very, very clever pheasants in Scotland.
And smashed the windscreen.
Yeah. So at the time we were cursing the pheasant. It made the vehicle. I was really even worried about driving it from the roadside, but decided it was probably the safest thing for us to do was to limp our way back to the campsite. It was actually Glenmore. And
the other thing was the insurance company weren't going to come and pick us up.
That's right. We weren't going to get collected from the roadside. So it was a bit of a nightmare at the time, and I was cursing that pheasant. But what it did is it made us static for a month. We literally, it was the whole of November, wasn't it? Because you'll have seen the motorhome if you've been watching for a while, and it's an A-class motorhome, and it's a really big windscreen. And it, having spoken to the insurance company, and Autoglass is the people that they use, it was going to take them a while to import a new windscreen. So we got stuck, at Glenmore Campsite. Not a bad place to get stuck.
My favourite campsite.
Your favourite campsite. Always has been your
Yeah.
favourite campsite, hasn't it? And we got stuck there for a month. We spent our days, apart from chatting to the insurance company, jumping on the bus and either going down to Aviemore or jumping on the bus and going up to the ski station and doing walks all around that area. And we fell in love with it. Oh, and we also met King in It. That's another channel. I was very, very excited about that. Custard the Bus and King in It. Bumped into them in Costa Coffee in Aviemore, of all places.
And not only that, they parked up on Glenmore Campsite.
They did.
Two spaces down from us.
They did. I wanted to go and knock and say hello, but Sue told me I wasn't allowed to because apparently that would look like stalking. Anyway, so Craig and Amy, if you're watching, it was us or it was me that you bumped into. Anyway, let's move on with our story. Oh, so what's next in the story? Well, we then carried on with travelling, and after Dan had made his decision and we'd made that big decision to sell up, we had no immediate plans to buy anywhere at all. But some would say we made the mistake. We decided to just have a look at what might be on the market in the Cairngorms. Go on, and you can tell the rest.
Yeah. So when we had a look around, we then found a property that we both looked at and thought, yeah, this is the one.
Yeah.
And we went and had a look, and it definitely was the one that we wanted.
Yeah.
Everything that the house and the land had was what we wanted. So we decided to put in an offer. Yeah,
and well, to cut a very long story short, that offer was accepted. It feels like quite a long time ago now. If you move in house, you know how this feels, and we've had a few ups and downs along the way when we've not been sure.
But that's also because the difference when you sell a house in England to when you selling a house in Scotland is different.
That's right. So
which we had to learn.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if anyone is interested in doing that, then let us know, because we could perhaps make a separate video about the different. We're not as experts, but how we found that. But maybe for another video. But really, to cut a long story short, we are an inch away now from. Well, one, from selling. We've already exchanged contracts, as we explained last week, but we literally have, if everything goes to plan, 3 days between selling the house and moving out and moving into our new home, which we're really, really excited about. So we're obviously doing this video still from the lodge, and but we are about to go and collect our motorhome.
Yes.
Which we've had notification is finished and ready for collection. So we'll be going to collect the motorhome, load it all back up again from here, and then heading back to our old house for the very, very last time, loading up a hire van and heading to Scotland. So I've actually had a few people that know about this already, some of our friends saying, what's going to happen to the channel? Will you still carry on making content? And it is my plan. Sue's never been as keen as me, but it is still my plan, because I really, really enjoy doing this, and we're going to be in a fantastic part of the world, so there's going to be loads of walking, loads of places that hopefully I can take you and you'd want to come with me. And we don't plan on stopping travelling either.
No.
We absolutely love travelling in the motorhome. It's just that we'll have a different base, and I think probably for a while we'll be a little bit more static than we have been, because there's things obviously we want to do having moved into a new house. But I hope you'll keep watching. There might be a bit more just general lifestyle stuff, and well, obviously, as you know, Sue is turning into a rock star, so there's bound to be lots of playing the guitar.
There's still a long way to go.
So Sue is becoming a rock star, and in our new house I've got a workshop, so I'm going to try my hand at a bit of carpentry. I've told Sue she doesn't need to buy any furniture because I am going to build it all. I have no skills, by the way, so
no, I've said we can't wait that long.
Anyway, we're very excited. I hope you'll come with us too. Well, that's me off now to take the hire car back and go and pick up Bertie. Well, I'm back in the bus, and as you would expect, Camper UK have done a really good job. And even better, they got the technician to show me around, to show me what they'd done. And one of the things they were going to do was replace the whole door mechanism. If you remember, a long time ago I'd had a problem with that, and it was a spring, and I was trying to source the spring and just gave up in the end. Anyway, but I asked them to leave me the old door mechanism, because I thought, well, I'll at least have some spares. Anyway, the technician said, oh, we took one off an old door that we found in our stocks. I said, well, that's brilliant, but I've actually already paid for the whole door mechanism, and it was really expensive. And in fact, with VAT, it came to about 540 quid. So anyway, I've got my 540 quid back. So yeah, all in all, a good job. Well, this is packing up day, and we're now just heading off to collect the van, the renter van, so we can start loading up everything before we leave. She made it! No accidents! Now, the only sizable piece of furniture we decided to take on the move is our solid wood 7-foot dining room table. Tonight we're running on the right track. And this is the bit we were worried about, getting it out of the kitchen, doing that tight turn, and then out into the driveway. I'm up for anything like that.
Whoa, stop!
Yeah, I've got it. Stop.
Kelly's trapped.
You're right.
You could probably need
Yeah, we made it! So, relatively speaking, this was the easy bit. Down the driveway and into the back of the removal van. Let's have a look at how we're doing. What do you think? Will we get there?
Yeah, I probably will do. Still quite a few little bits to go in.
Oh, I just want to have a good... It's not even half full yet, and this was the thing I was most worried about, which is our lawnmower. So we've still got, as you can see, quite a bit in the driveway. We've got the chairs from the dining room table, but it's all little bits now, and we've still got bits left in the house as well. We've still got Sue, she's got to get in. Driver.
Well, I'll definitely be in. Otherwise it won't be going up.
No, that's true. And what about you, Fudge? You're a bit confused, aren't you? Hey, what's happening? What's happening? Good girl. Last few things going in now. I think Sue's done a genius job of organising things. So nothing's strapped. Some may say that's foolish, but she's trapped everything. So hopefully no disasters tomorrow. Well, it's the end of a very long day. We are both shattered. Our neighbours are cooking for us tonight, so we don't have to worry about that, which is fantastic. A chance to say proper goodbyes. And tomorrow is when we set off on our way to Scotland. Good morning. It's 6:45. It is light outside. The vans are all packed. There's the last few bits and bobs to go in once we've had our breakfast, and then we're hitting the road. Bye bye, little house. You've served us well. Next chapter. Well, good morning. So this was last night's park up, and we made it after 9 hours on the road just over the border into Scotland. So this is called Castle. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on. It's near a little village called Lochmaben, and this is, Castle Loch Country Park, a little car park here. Behind where you are at the moment, there's a little sports field and some tennis courts and a bowling club. And as you can see, lovely, peaceful little spot. It was ideal for Sue and I, because obviously we've got the hire van and the motorhome. So we had a nice peaceful night last night. It was dark when we got here, although it was probably about 6:30. Anyway, we're in Scotland, and today we've got another, not sure, 4 or 5 hours driving to get to our destination. So, well, we'll see you later. Oh, one thing is there's an honesty box in this car park, so you can just pay a donation. It goes to Think to the Bowling Club. And you can stay here, and there are some bins. There's a dog poo bin, there's a 3-mile walk around the loch, so it's ideal for Sue. Might do 1 or 2 loops around there. She'll see how she feels today. What a spot. Anyway, see you later. Only about an hour's travelling now, so we've just stopped off at Tesco's to pick up some last minute essentials. We're not staying here because it's a Saturday. Normally we'd just sit and have lunch here, but it's a busy car park and we don't want to take up space. So we'll carry on for a little bit longer, find a lay-by, stop and have some lunch, and then head off to Glenmore Campsite, where we'll be staying for the next couple of days. We've made it to Glenmore Campsite, and because Fudge has had 2 very long days in the car, we're out for an afternoon walk. We'll give her at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer, and then by then I expect it'll be dark. Well, after a very peaceful night's sleep at Glenmore Campsite, we just have 1 more night to go. But I think this is where we leave this video, because next week we will bring you back and hopefully we'll be able to give you a house tour. We're really looking forward to it. So nothing more to say other than thank you so much for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, comment and all that jazz, and we'll see you next time.